We've all seen that scene in Suits. You know the one. Mike Ross picks up a legal file thick enough to be a doorstop. He flips the pages. Zip, 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 barely looking at them. 3 seconds later, he slams it shut and quotes a paragraph verbatim. It looks like a superpower, right? A photographic memory, a genius-level hack that the rest of us just didn't get at birth. And then there's us. You buy a book because you know it has the answers you need. Maybe it's about money or mindset or fixing your relationships. You sit down, full of motivation. You read the first 10 pages. You feel good. But then life happens. You get tired. The text gets dense. You find yourself reading the same sentence 3 times because your brain drifted off to what you're having for dinner. 2 weeks later, that book is sitting on your nightstand, gathering dust, mocking you. We are drowning in information, but starving for wisdom. We feel behind, always behind. But here's the truth I had to learn the hard way. Mike Ross isn't using magic. And while the show exaggerates the memory part, the speed, that is actually real. It's a technique. Today, I'm going to show you how to download a book into your brain in about 2 hours. And here's where I stop for a disclaimer. Yes, it will take about 2 hours with some practice and effort put into it. If you're looking for magic, you'd better watch Harry Potter. This can be done with work and effort over hours of training. That being said, let's get back to our deal. We are going to break the bad habits your elementary school teacher taught you, eliminate the voice in your head that's slowing you down, and finally clear that stack of books on your desk. Welcome to the Mike Ross scanning technique. Let's dive in. Before we get to the how, we have to talk about the why. Why is it that you can binge watch a 10-hour series in one Saturday, but reading a 200-page book feels like climbing Everest? It's not your fault, it's your training. Think back to when you were 6 years old. How were you taught to read? You read out loud. C-A-T. Cat. You pointed at every single word. Eventually, the teacher told you to stop reading out loud and read silently. But here is the catch. You didn't actually stop reading out loud. You just moved the voice inside your head. This is called subvocalization. Right now, as you're listening to me, you might be reading the text on the screen, and there's a little voice in your mind saying the words along with your eyes. That little voice is your speed limit. The average person talks at about 150 words per minute. If you're saying the words in your head while you read, you physically cannot read faster than you can speak. You are driving a Ferrari, your brain, in first gear. Your brain is capable of processing visual information thousands of times faster than auditory information. Mike Ross doesn't hear the files he reads. He sees them. He takes a snapshot. The second problem, regression. Be honest with me. How often do you read a paragraph, realize you zoned out and go back to the start? Or your eyes just flicker back to the previous word just to double check you saw it right? That is a habit born out of insecurity. We are terrified of missing something. We treat a $15 business book like it's a legal contract where every and, if, or but changes the meaning. It doesn't. If we want to read a book in 2 hours, we have to stop reading words and start reading ideas. Okay, let's get into the tactical steps. If you hand me a new book right now, the absolute worst thing I can do is open it to page 1 and start reading, "It was the best of times." No. That is how you burn out by chapter 3. To read fast, you need a map. You need to prime your brain so it knows exactly what to look for. Step 1 is the inspection. This takes 10 to 15 minutes, and it is the most important part of the 2-hour read. Read the back cover. Read the author's bio. Why did they write this? Read the table of contents. But don't just read the table of contents, study it. This is the skeleton of the entire book. Most nonfiction books have 3 or 4 main arguments, and the rest is just supporting stories, examples, and fluff. Identify the chapters that seem most relevant to your current problem. If you're reading a book on marketing because you need to fix your Facebook ads, you do not need to read the 3 chapters on the history of marketing in the 1950s. Give yourself permission to be ruthless. Mike Ross doesn't look for information he already knows. He hunts for the delta, the new information. During this inspection, I want you to flip through the book quickly. Look at the bold headers. Look at the graphs. Read the pull quotes.
By the time you actually start reading, your brain should already know the structure. You aren't walking into a dark forest. You're walking into a room with the lights on. You know where the furniture is. This reduces anxiety and stops that feeling of, how much longer is this chapter? Now, let's talk about the actual mechanics of your eyes. Our eyes are not designed to move in a smooth, straight line. If you tracked your eye movements while reading normally, they look like an erratic heartbeat, jumping forward, jerking back, stopping, jumping again. These stops are called fixations. Every time your eye stops, it takes a snapshot. The more stops you make, the slower you read. To read like Mike, we need to smooth out that motion. We need to guide the eyes. The tool, your finger. I know, you feel like a kindergartner using your finger to follow the text. I felt ridiculous doing this at a coffee shop the first time, but it works. Your eyes are biologically hardwired to follow movement. It's a survival instinct. If a fly zips across the room, your eyes lock onto it. Place your finger or a pen under the line you are reading. Move it steadily across the page. Do not stop. Do not go back. Your eyes must follow the pacer. Here's the trick. Move your hand slightly faster than your brain feels comfortable with. This creates a sense of urgency. It forces your brain to catch up. It prevents you from getting bored and drifting off to think about your laundry. And here is the pro tip for the Mike Ross scan. Don't read edge to edge. If you look at a page, your peripheral vision is actually quite wide. You don't need to look at the very first word on the left or the very last word on the right. Your brain can fill those in. Start your eyes about an inch in from the left and stop an inch before the right. You're just scanning the middle 60% of the page. This cuts out huge amounts of eye travel time. Over a 300-page book, this saves you literally miles of eye movement. So, you've got your pacer, you've got your map. Now, how do we actually consume the content in under 2 hours? We are going to use variable speed reading. Most people read a book like they drive in a school zone, constant, slow speed. I want you to drive like a race car driver. You speed up on the straightaways, the stories, the fluff, and you slow down on the corners, the core concepts. There are 2 main scanning styles I use depending on the book. One is the S-curve. Instead of going line by line, left to right, use your finger to draw a loose S shape down the page. You're looking for key words, nouns and verbs. Strategy, implementation, failing, cost, pivot. Your brain is incredibly good at filling in the gaps. The company's strategy for implementation was failing due to high costs, so they had to pivot. You didn't read the connecting words, but you got the story. The first and last sentence method. In nonfiction writing, authors are taught a specific structure. The first sentence of a paragraph introduces the idea. The middle sentences explain or prove it. The last sentence transitions or concludes. If you're pressed for time, read the first sentence of a paragraph. If you understand the concept, skip the rest of the paragraph. Yes, skip it. If the first sentence says, meditation has been proven to lower cortisol levels, and you already believe that, do you really need to read the 3 anecdotes about a guy named Steve who meditated in 1998? No, you got the point. Move on. This is how Mike Ross does it. He doesn't memorize the ink on the page. He extracts the logic. Once he has the logic, he moves to the next file. You have to trust yourself. The fear that you are missing something is the only thing holding you back. We have to circle back to the biggest enemy, that voice in your head, subvocalization. You can use the finger, you can use the S-curve, but if you're still pronouncing every word in your mind, you will hit a ceiling. How do we shut it up? We have to distract the part of the brain that handles speech, so the part of the brain that handles visuals can take over. Technique A, the music hack. Listen to instrumental music, classical, lo-fi, or binaural beats. No lyrics. If there are lyrics, your language center will try to process them. The music occupies the auditory space, allowing your visual processing to work without the narrator interfering. Technique B, Chewing gum. It sounds stupid, but it works. Chewing gum engages the muscles in your jaw and tongue that are often involved in subvocalization. Even if you aren't actually moving your lips, the nerves are firing. By keeping them busy, you break the connection. Technique C. The A-E-I-O-U chant. This is extreme but good for training. While you are scanning a page with your eyes, mentally chant A-E-I-O-U or count 1, 2, 3, 4 repeatedly in your head. You can't say the words on the page if you are saying A-E-I-O-U inside your mind. At first, you will feel like you aren't understanding anything, but after a few pages, a weird thing happens. You realize you did understand what you read. You absorbed the meaning directly, without the sound. That is the flow state. That is the Mike Ross zone. Let's recap the 2-hour protocol. Inspect. Spend 15 minutes mapping the book. Know what you need. Guide. Use a pacer to keep your eyes moving and reduce fixation. Scan. Use the S-curve or first sentence method. Be ruthless about skipping fluff. Silence. Use music or distraction to kill the inner voice. But before you go, I want to leave you with this thought. Why do you want to read fast? Is it just to say you read 50 books this year? Is it a vanity metric? If you read a book in 2 hours but you don't apply anything, you just wasted 2 hours. The goal of the Mike Ross technique isn't just speed, it's bandwidth. When you can process information quickly, you stop being afraid of not knowing the answer. You stop feeling intimidated by thick files, long contracts, or complex topics. You gain the confidence that whatever problem life throws at you, you can learn the solution in an afternoon. That is true power. So here is my challenge to you. Don't try this on a difficult textbook first. Tonight, pick a non-fiction book that's been sitting on your shelf. Set a timer for 45 minutes and just try to scan. Don't aim for perfection, aim for flow. You are smarter than you give yourself credit for. Your brain is a supercomputer. Stop treating it like a typewriter. If you want to dive deeper into the best ideas from the world's most powerful books without spending weeks reading them, that's exactly what we do here. We do the heavy lifting, the scanning, and the extracting for you. If you found value in this, hit that like button. It helps us get these tools to more people. And subscribe to the Mindbook channel. Let's build a library of wisdom together, one video at a time. See you in the next one.